Hey there, welcome back to the Channel Iowa Yieldcast. I'm your host, Matt Nelson, Channel Technical Agronomist for Central Iowa, and I'm joined today by my good friend and colleague, Andrew Sikora, who is a Channel Agronomist for Northwest Iowa. And we're going to go through some yield data today, specifically corn plots from across the state, and we're also going to talk a little bit about harvest standability and how harvest has gone in our areas. Jumping right in, I'm going to start with this double pro plot from LeGrand, Iowa, which is near Marshalltown, for those of you unfamiliar with the central part of the state. And this was a kind of a nicer location, a little bit more variable ground, but in general, very productive. You can see that by the yields. And rainfall wise, this was fairly dry, only about 16 inches during the growing season. So I was really happy with the performance in this part of the state. Top five, you had 214.78, Drought Guard Double Pro 213.72, 210.46, 212.60, and 213.19, with the yield ranging from that 280 mark down to 250 bushels per acre across those top five products. And this was for an April 27th planting date at about 36,000 plants per acre. So what really stood out to me in this plot specifically was the drought tolerance of the products that finished towards the top. In general, that was kind of the one of the distinguishing factors, along with late season plant health. This plot was not fungicided, so 214.78, 213.72, 210.46, that kind of fits the mold for all of those products. They stay healthy late into the year. They're pretty good on diseases as well, but really happy with the three that I really wanted to highlight would be 214.78, 210.46, and 212.60. And I've got some pictures of those three products. 214.78, our new 114 day, which, Andrew, is a little too full season for your area.
We are going to utilize some. I mean, something that's winning the rate that it is, it's hard to ignore, and we're gonna push it up north as much as we can anyway.
I would agree. I'm glad you've kind of got the same opinion as me. I'm going to take this as far north as I can in my territory as well, for a number of reasons. It is a tall plant. But it has really wide, aggressive set roots that I think do a nice job of exploring a lot of volume of soil per plant. Great ear development, really nice late season stay green and overall plant health. And I think you can see that in some of these pictures that I took just before harvest. This is going to be, the new lead dog for us in the fuller season RM. But 212.60 is a product that we've probably underutilized, Andrew. It's not new. It's been out for a few years, but we've never really tested it in depth until this year, and it's just kind of a unique product. It is really good across the board agronomically. It's got a lot of ear flex. It pollinates a little oddly and maybe doesn't always enjoy a lot of stress right at pollination, but it really passed through the stress of this year with flying colors, and I've been really happy with its performance, especially on some better soil. And then 210.46. 210.46 is a brand new product for us. It's got both a Smart Stacks and a Double Pro version. And from this product, I see nice plant health. It's been actually pretty good on tar spot in my area, but just very consistent and uniform ear size. It's a longer type ear, but still has a little bit of flex to it. I've just been very, very happy with this product. It's got a slight green snap watch out, so that's something that we're still evaluating moving forward. But I've been impressed with how these three products have looked, at least in my region, Andrew. I'm sure you've gotten a look at some of these yourself.
Yeah. I'm very excited about 210.46, especially in the Smart Stacks option. So my Western territory, we have a lot of cattle feeders. We have a lot of corn on corn. Real excited about the late season plant health this brings. It's going to give us a nice harvest window for guys to either take it as grain, take it as high moisture corn, or potentially even take it for silage. And you put them in those tough long-term corn on corn situations, that late season plant health is a great thing. Like, we've had really good luck with an older product, 207.27, which does a lot of that same thing. And there's things about this 210.46 that reminds me of that, which I think it's going to give us that stability across a lot of different acres and environments in my area. 214.78, you just can't say enough about its top end yield potential. I know you and our counterpart Brent were passing along some data on a call the other day, and not only like its win percentage against Pioneer, which we have checks in all of our plots, like its overall plot win percentage. So not just like beating the mean of a plot or beating an average, like it's like winning the entire plot at a rate that probably none of us have ever seen before. So very excited about, I mean, really it's I wouldn't call it a racehorse product necessarily either. So
No.
it's something that can bring just tremendous top end yield, but it's going to be broadly placed for us across, central and southern Iowa. And
That's how I feel really about these three products that I wanted to spotlight out of this plot. And you're right, 21046, Andrew, just a kind of a unique plant type, really wide leaves, really nice dark deep green color, which it carries. It's actually a shorter plant, which I always like. And we've seen really good standability from it as well. So happy with it. Have not seen a lot of agronomic issues, and it's one that I agree. I probably like the Smart Stacks version a little more, but both certainly very good products. Uh, on the Smart Stack side, this plot came from Maxwell, Iowa, which is just southeast of Ames, about 10, 15 miles. Um, Kind of a different situation here. This was a more fertile farm, one that was really addressed with fertility well. It was fungicided, and this area caught a little bit more rain. This was kind of in a pocket that definitely received some more timely rainfall, but it was planted later, right? You see May 6th planting date, and more moderate population wise. In terms of the top five, we had 216.36, 214.22, 210.46, 217.01, and 209.06, and the yield levels on those were all fairly similar from that 250 to 260 range. So really pretty tight spread on this plot in terms of yield. A couple of things I really wanted to call out here, Andrew, was one, performance against competitors, and this plot was very good against an AMXT and a Chrome product. Not necessarily a lot of rootworm pressure in this field either, but a couple of trends that I've started to see. One is the skew towards fuller season products, which I think in this plot, I mean, if you look at the top four, right, you've got 116, 114, 117, and 110 day that we saw developmentally maybe matures closer to something like 112 day, and 210.46. But the thing that I've been seeing is, with the exception of maybe the 109 day products, or 105 day, excuse me, the moisture spreads on these fuller season products are really not all that different from what we're seeing on some of the earlier season products.
No, and you could see it in your previous plot as well, and I think some of this rain came later in the season, and that's where like 203.83 was in the first plot you showed and was off the pace, and 205.70 here, and those are two products that are performing well up north where they're more within their maturity pocket. Or if you kind of figure where they were probably sitting physiologically when the rain really came, it was maybe a little too late for them to capitalize on the top end. But no, I mean, we're seeing it in a lot of plots across the area, kind of a linear effect from like late to early, with a few other products maybe, outpacing their maturity. And you mentioned it, 210.46, maybe a touch late as a pollinator. It's fallen pretty close in line with maturity.
I would agree, moisture-wise, yeah.
But I think this year being a touch later in maturity maybe even helped it, or in pollination, I should say, maybe even helped it.
I would agree.
Take advantage of some of that rainfall. Because it was one right after pollination. We were all like, we're going to have to keep our eye on this one and just see how it looks. So, comparing it to like 210.79 and 210.60. And every week you'd get back to a plot and it just impressed you more and more, the ear size and kernel depth and how it finished the season out.
No, I would agree. I actually think the delay, did help it, and it seems to me like a length flexor, so a product that picks up a lot of yield based on how many kernels it adds to the end. And in a year like this, you would almost expect more tip back than I saw from it. I did not see very much tip back or abortion in terms of losing kernels off the tip. I think that's where it kept some of that yield. In 214.22, what can I say about that product, Andrew? It's been yield wise at towards the top of all of our Smart Stacks plots. But what makes me the most impressed about this hybrid is its consistency in every environment. It's a shorter plant, very healthy, wider leaves, kind of a droopier leaf type. It's certainly got some ear flex, but the consistency of the ear height, the way it handles drought stress, the way it performs on wet soil, it emerges well. It's just kind of a very versatile product. It's one that I want on every farm, and I want everybody to use a little bit of, because it's been that good for us. And from what I've seen, we've done some population studies. It seems to respond to any population you want to plant it at for the most part. So really very happy with 214.22, and I have to give 216.36 some love as well. It's an older 116 day hybrid that has a lot of drought tolerance, good plant health. and it's really performed this year. It's been a mainstay of our lineup on the filler season side for a long time, and I think we saw why in a year like 2021.
214-22 is one we will move north. Maybe not so much as a grain corn, but as a high moisture corn. I'll say another thing about it hides yield well. It's when you peel ears back, it's really girthy, and then you break that ear in half, and it's impressive. It's got good grain quality. But even in a few plots, you knew it was going to do well, and then the data comes out or the combine hits it and it blows you away. And I do love the plant health it brings, and like you said, it's one we can take west, we can take it north, we can take it south, we can put it in different management systems, and it's consistent performance is just an awesome thing to add to the lineup. And it did it last year too.
Yes.
It 214-78, or kind of we've referred to them as our red shirt products, because we didn't have a ton of supply for this year. They were dominant in plots last year. We got a little bit sprinkled out. They've been awesome in farmers' fields where we had it. And then in plots this year, they've kind of had a repeat performance to last year and been very dominant again. And so I think they're going to bring a ton of stability in different environments and different weather years. So they're going to be mainstays and very, very big piles as far as product mix or supply for us going forward.
Absolutely. Let's jump into while we're on the Smart Stacks topic, it looks like you've got one here from Kossuth County.
Yep, this was in the Whittemore area. It's actually a long-term corn-on-corn field that was strip-tilled. Real good manager, good farmer. It's been a good plot location for channel for a few years. It is an environment or an area that was definitely stressed. So there was also some rootworm pressure in this plot, and you could really see it. So there's 24-row planter in the middle 8 rows across the plot was actually 204-25 double pro. So about everywhere the check was, you could see goosenecking and heavy rootworm feeding. And even on some of the Smart Stacks and obviously the Chrome products to a higher degree, there was some feeding there as well. So this one, we did catch some late rain. Some of the stuff was stressed, maybe beyond recovery when the rain came, so it took the top end off. There's a few ears tipped down and things like that. So I think I ran the data. So the plot was at about 2,100, 2,150 GDUs and only had 8 inches of rain. So a lot of that seasonal rainfall even came later on, which helped some products more than others. But a couple ones I'd really like to highlight. So 202-24 is another one of those, I guess I'd call it a red-shirted new product as well. So we had it in plots. It was an awesome product for us last year. We had some out in growers field, like more winter-produced product out in growers field this year. It's done very well, shown tremendous stability across all of northern Iowa and in many different environments, high yield environments, tougher acres. It is a Smart Stacks only product, and it fits a nice niche or a nice spot for us there at that 102 day. And it performed well here in a tougher environment, and we've seen it perform well in some high yield environments. Another product I'd like to highlight is 288. So it's a new 100-day stacks only product, a dual purpose product, tremendous plant health. Came out of the ground well, had good late season plant health, has handled the stress well. And another nice thing about this product, it was brought out as kind of a dual purpose. I'd call it almost more of a mid-tier play, and it hits a nice price point. So even for a new product, it's one we can throw into mixes without some sticker shock. So real excited about that one, especially in my eastern territory where, that heavy corn on corn, Des Moines Loeb area, some of those heavier, wetter, tighter soil types, it's going to be a really nice fit there too. So excited to add that to the lineup.
Anything else you want to cover here on 202-24?
Yeah, it's just got powerful yields with excellent stress tolerance, like it says. So it comes out of the ground really well. So in plots that go over multiple soil types, things like that, I mean, it'll yield in your low yield environments, high yield environments. I've got another picture coming up in kind of an eroded sack soil type. It's actually after the slide here. We'll look at it here in a minute. Where it really shined compared to a Pioneer competitor. So really nice root system, harvest appearance. The one watch out would be we haven't had heavy disease pressure in Northwest Iowa. And normally for us, I mean, heavy disease pressure isn't real heavy. But its foliar disease package would be the one thing that we'd like to see protected with a fungicide if we get into a higher disease year. But really excited to add this to the lineup. showing a real high wind percentage and just tremendous stability. There's not really an environment across northern Iowa where I'd be afraid to put this product into.
No, and I know that the drought tolerance really stands out to me, and I know that's certainly what you've seen and what you're hearing from customers as well, which is always a nice thing, especially if we tend towards these, continued drier Julys into
Yep.
dry months of August. It's something that we're going to continue to need going forward. Then
Here
you've got a double pro plot here from O'Brien County. It looks like a little different yield environment as well.
this was a plot that, although it had similar seasonal rainfall, it had what I'd call very prescriptive rainfall. So whenever the stress was starting is when we would catch a rain. Which kind of highlighted its top end yield potential. It was also on some really nice soil types and a farm that has manure history, really good fertility. The nitrogen was there late, and then so standability was good. And one thing that was nice to see on a plot like this, you're really able to test the the top end of products, and that's where looking at how we did competitively. I was actually in the combine when this plot was harvested, so to see some of that top end yield punch we had with some key products. Compared to where Pioneer was or what we could see with a 97-day product, really jumped out. So 207.87 is a 107-day that I would say is as high a yielding product as there is in the industry under 110-day. And I know it's one we take south into your area. We actually take it south into Missouri, and they play it as kind of an early hybrid on tough acres. So just a product if a guy wants to put something or grower wants to put something in their mix, especially even up north here, to hit another yield level, another yield plateau. 207.87 is one that can do it. It's a great product paired with the one below it, 208.38, that kind of brings a little shorter stature, tremendous agronomics, great late season standability. I really love those as a 1-2 punch. Or in all honesty, we've got about 4 or 5 products that go from that 107 to 110 that go across all of Iowa. So you could add 208.23 into the mix as a little bit older product. That's a broad acre play, and 210.79 really works awesome especially in western Iowa. And then now we've added 210.46 and 210.60 there. I'd say on that double pro side, I don't know that anyone in the industry could hang with us in that 107 to 110 range. So
That's a 207.87 seems to have you mentioned it, but almost seems like it's got an extra gear.
it does.
It's pretty fun to harvest.
It was one, we'd get through stretches, get on those Primgar soil types or whatever, where, I mean, the monitor was steadily running in that 330 to 350 range. And it's just darn impressive on the top end. Another product I'd like to highlight is a new product, 101-day, 201.14. So to see that one hit up there in that 293 range, because one thing, I've loved how that thing has looked all year. Came out of the ground great. Has shown great season-long agronomics. It's got a real upright leaf type. It's kind of a unique plant type. But it put these blocky ears on with just a little bit of a nose on every single ear. But you could have snapped a chalk line, down the row or peeled 30 ears, and the ears look identical up and down. So talking to my counterparts up north here, I'm like, man, I love this product. I think it's going to bring tremendous stability because it looked good in some tougher environments. But is it going to bring the top end? And now that we're seeing data come back, so, like P0075 has been a nice or a high volume product for Pioneer. I mean, we're winning at a clip of about 85% with it across northern Iowa, southern Minnesota by about 15 bushel. So, I mean, it's just got another gear that has even surprised, us agronomists up here.
Yeah, that's a
Iowa. So
293 101 day. That's a lot of yield for a product that early. That's a heck of a product.
So real excited about that one going forward. And then we've taken out plots, where the plot average is in that 150 range, where it was running in the 180 range. So
right.
It's going to be a broad acre play for us up here up north, and we're excited about it. So I talked a second ago about 208.38, 207.87 being a great companion to each other. And here it just kind of shows, you can kind of see the crop split there. Just the tremendous stay green and harvest appearance of 208.38, 207.87. Great agronomics, but a little bit more of a racehorse product. And you can kind of see it there, that late season plant. But just a really nice 1-2 punch. And it's something if guys haven't stretched, up here along this like Highway 18, Highway 9 corridor into that 106, 7, 8 range, I'd just like to see some guys take a look at one of those two products and kind of find that next tier of yield level. And then I was mentioning before, so this picture on the right was out of a corn on corn field. Is with the grower that it's kind of in some sack soils that were, on a hillside that had been eroded over years. And um, last year, he said that pocket of the field would average probably in that 125 to 150 area when things got dry late. So he wanted to walk out across it, and it was split planted with PO 220 Pioneer, and it was real eye opening when we got out in the split. 224 apparently did like 250 ish on a strip across the field, where it's about 35 better than that 102 day chrome there, and you could see plant health. There's some ears tipped down versus everything upright. The plant green, the plant healthy, just taking that stress in stride. So really nice to see, and real excited about the broadacre placement we have at 20224 in northern Iowa.
Yeah, and I think those are both great pictures, and I think that's a great way to kind of illustrate differences between products, and also what we want to highlight as we get into 20787.
Yeah, and here just kind of a picture to show off that, just in all honesty, the ear size and yield potential. I'd said it earlier, industry leading yield potential. Our data spells it out. Super high win percentage by, tens of bushels. 0688's a key Pioneer product across my territory that's done a good job for them. 20787, super high win percentage by 15-ish bushel, 10 to 15 bushel on the plot data that's came out so far. So excited about that. Real broadacre fit. So it will handle a tougher acre as well. You're just going to watch the late season agronomics and stuff if you're putting in a super stressful environment, but the yield will be there. I'm confident in that. So
this picture also captures, for me, it pollinates well, and
yes.
The kernel size is large, and also always carries a nice color, nice test weight as well. These pictures
Yep.
really do that justice.
It does bushel up, absolutely. So and then here's 20114, like I mentioned earlier. Just put that little tip on every ear. Just that blocky ear type. But if you broke those things in half, there's still a fair amount of grain fill to go there. Just super deep kernels, and just kind of hid yield tremendously well with in that blocky ear type. So excited about all the different acres that's going to be able to go on across northern Iowa, and as we go forward, it'll be a real high volume product for us. So one to look out for. So yeah.
Hey, great insight on some products. And Andrew, I'll ask you one more question. You've got about a minute. Explain to our audience, how harvest has gone. If we've heard some standability issues as you get into different parts of the state, caused by, some of its environment, some is disease. What's your kind of summary in terms of maybe why we're seeing some isolated, standability issues across, especially the northern part of the state?
So in general, things have been pretty good. Where I've seen some of the issues is probably, in all honesty, been on some of the more intensely managed acres, with some products that were maybe a touch more cannibalistic. So, pretty good ear set. Things are going along. Things got super dry, or they pollinated well, and then some products that just kind of cannibalized. We saw some of that. And then in some of those same environments that were intensely managed, and then when the rain started, we've seen some red root rot. We've seen some fusarium crown rot and some things like that start in those environments. And it's been kind of odd because we actually have seen it in some of the more high fertility, highly managed areas,
Right,
where those plants were kind of doing whatever they could to finish out and hold on. But a lot of it it's been pocketed. A lot of it hasn't been field wide, but harvest is progressing well. We had a little rain here last week to keep us out, but I'd say we're probably in that 85% done on corn, and hopefully we get a little window here to get wrapped up this week or in the next 10 days. So yeah, standability in pockets has been an issue, but in general, guys are able to get after stuff and get it out. So
sure.
all in all, it's been a good harvest and a lot of dry corn. And in all honesty, a lot of guys have been surprised with the bushels they've been able to pull out with the environment we had. And we talked about it earlier, a lot of prescriptive rainfall that kept things going, and it led to some surprising yields at the end of the day. So
I would agree. And I think, dry conditions early are so much better than wet conditions earlier. Just think back to plant in the dust and bins will bust. I think We saw that. We while it was really dry, and we had some issues with seeding depth and with
Yeah.
uniformity of stand. I think for the most part, those roots were forced to grow down all year to chase moisture, and we did get rains at the right times for a lot of parts of the state. So, Ryan, great insight and analysis. We'll hope to get you back on here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And that
Looking
concludes
forward
this
to
episode.
everything compiled, and no, it's been a great harvest for channel and the channel brand. Excited about the yield data we pulled, and we're getting that data out to our seedsmen and growers as quick as we can. But if you're looking for more data or insights, be sure to reach out to your local seedsman, and we'll get data in your hands to help you make decisions.
Absolutely. With that, we'll wrap up. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Iowa_channel is where you can find us on that app on that website. And be sure to tune back in next week. We'll be back with another episode. I think I'll have Brent Brecky on from Southwest Iowa to give you a little flavor of what's going on in the southern part of the state. Thanks for watching.